A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant development for Syria, leaders from the G7 countries, which include Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK, and the US, have expressed their readiness to support the establishment of an inclusive government in the war-torn nation. This announcement comes on the heels of a statement released by G7 President Italy, emphasizing the need for a transition that leads to credible, inclusive, and non-sectarian governance. The statement also highlighted the importance of upholding the rule of law and universal human rights, particularly the rights of women and the protection of all Syrians. The G7 leaders reiterated their commitment to collaborating with a future Syrian government that adheres to these principles. Furthermore, the leaders called for all parties involved to respect Syria's territorial integrity and national unity while maintaining its independence and sovereignty. The United Nations has also weighed in on the matter, stressing the necessity for a more inclusive transitional government to prevent the emergence of new civil strife. Geir Peterson, the UN envoy to Syria, voiced concerns that the transition could create contradictions that might lead to further civil conflict. In the aftermath of the recent political upheaval, fighters who played a pivotal role in toppling President Bashar al-Assad have appointed Mohammed al-Bashir as the country's caretaker prime minister. Al-Bashir, who previously led a government in Idlib under the Islamist group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham (HTS), has outlined his goals for the interim government, which include the return of millions of Syrian refugees, fostering national unity, and providing basic services. However, he acknowledged the daunting challenges ahead, including a lack of foreign currency and the ongoing collection of data for potential loans and bonds. Al-Bashir stated that the full lineup of the interim government would be revealed in the coming days. He noted that many government employees have returned to their positions and that opportunities remain open for others to join the interim government, with the exception of those involved in the violence against the Syrian people. He also announced that schools and universities would reopen starting next week, marking a step towards normalcy in the country. According to HTS, the transitional government is expected to govern until March 2025. This follows a surprise two-pronged attack on Syria's Aleppo and the surrounding Idlib region on November 27, which led to the capture of several major cities, including Hama, Homs, Darare, and Suwaida, culminating in the fall of Damascus. On Sunday, armed groups led by HTS militants confirmed their complete control over Damascus, marking the end of Assad's government. The G7 leaders are set to convene virtually to discuss a unified approach to the new Syrian government, which has pledged to uphold the rule of law after years of abuses under the Assad regime. The fall of Assad's administration signifies the end of an era characterized by repression, where suspected dissidents faced imprisonment or execution. The ongoing civil war has claimed over 500,000 lives and displaced millions, leaving many families in search of closure regarding their missing loved ones. Abu Muhammad, a father searching for 3 missing relatives, shared his anguish, stating, "I turned the world upside down looking, but I didn't find anything at all. We just want a hint of where they were, 1%. This sentiment resonates with countless Syrians who have endured the devastating consequences of a prolonged conflict. HTS, which has ties to al-Qaeda and is labeled a terrorist organization by many Western nations, now faces the challenge of how to engage with the international community in light of its new transitional leadership. The group has attempted to moderate its stance, with the interim government asserting that it will respect the rights of all Syrians, regardless of their backgrounds. Government spokesman Obaida Arnaout emphasized the commitment to religious and cultural diversity within Syria. He announced that during the 3-month transition period, the constitution and parliament would be suspended, paving the way for a judicial and human rights committee to review the constitution and propose amendments. Arnaout assured that rule of law would be established and that those who have committed crimes against the Syrian people would face justice. As the G7 leaders prepare for their virtual meeting, they aim to forge a common approach to support the transition in Syria, focusing on the protection of human rights, including those of women and minorities. They have underscored the necessity of holding the Assad regime accountable for its actions during its rule. The international community watches closely as Syria embarks on this critical journey towards rebuilding and reconciliation, hoping for a future that respects the dignity and rights of all its citizens. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, So hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.